Be it resolved that the Board of Governors approve the construction of a new campus for the Ottawa Valley on the waterfront land donated by the City of Pembroke at a cost of approximately $36 million, which includes the $4 million committed by the Students' Association, to be completed by fall 2012. Moved by myself, Fred Blackstein, and seconded by Amelita Armit, Monday, November the 10th, 2008.
You know, I think back to some of the things that we needed to do when we were trying to build public advocacy around this project, and talking to anyone who would listen and trying to get people engaged and seeing the big picture of what this project would mean not only to the college, but also to the greater community and to Pembroke's downtown and the Upper Ottawa Valley for that matter. And I think what was interesting to me was people were interested. There was no question about that. People were supportive. But I don't think they really believed we could make it happen. And I think that's the rewarding piece that comes out, because there absolutely were some naysayers who, particularly when we didn't get a significant amount of government funding, and yet all the stars aligned, just every roadblock was met with a detour, if you will, or another way to tackle it. And at the end of the day, it happened. And I am so pleased not only for the students that will study at this campus for many years to come and the staff that will work there, the teaching that will happen there, but for this community, because I think it's a game changer. It was interesting when Karen Davies arrived as dean. It was shortly after a submission had been made to Renfrew County Community Futures to look at telling the story of how the college was important to the Upper Ottawa Valley. There was some funding received through Renfrew County Community Futures to do an economic and socioeconomic impact study. And at the end of the day, that study became the springboard for the new campus initiative. And so Karen came in with, you know, lots of thoughts, ideas about how the campus should move forward. And certainly by her own admission, a new campus wasn't on the radar screen. But all of a sudden, that report started to get people interested and started to talk about, you need a new campus. And then we went into a fundraising feasibility study, and the words kept coming back from the community that we're on board. We don't know how you're going to do it, but we're on board. We think it's a good idea. We think it's important for our area. And if you're willing to take a risk and take a shot at this, we're willing to go along with you. And as the process evolved, as we started to get deeper and deeper into this, and we were talking to politicians and we were talking to community people and starting up a fundraising campaign, all before any of this was approved, the ball just kept rolling. And it got to the point where the snowball was so big, there was no way to stop it. And I think it's just, it's an extraordinary story. David versus Goliath, I would say in some ways, if you want to use a biblical reference, that it got done. It really is something.
I arrived in Ottawa in a snowstorm on January 4th, 2006. And I started work on January 14th. And I would say by January 18th, I had people coming into my office introducing themselves and saying, and by the way, we need a new campus. So it has been on my horizon since that time in those very early days. And of course, you'll also find those same people who will tell you, I said, absolutely not. Not going to happen. I'm new. Give me some time. We'll see if we really need this new campus.
So how did it happen then?
Well, again, if you'll recall, you made me travel throughout the region in all kinds of weather and all kinds of days and times of days and evenings. And we went to almost every town and reeve in Renfrew County and to the city of Pembroke, and we met with the municipal representatives. And it was through that process that I started to hear them say to me those very same words, you need a new campus. As you know, again, we were going out to ask them what we could do for their communities and what kind of educational opportunities might we be able to present to them. And the discussion always turned around to, that's great, we really appreciate you having that perspective, but you really need a new campus. And so it was within, again, I would say probably 4 to 6 weeks that you and I sat down and I said, Jamie, we need to talk about this new campus and what can we do on it.
The city of Pembroke agreed that it was a great idea. They wanted the college to stay here. They were willing to part with the land, but there were financial questions too. Snow dump comes to mind, parking comes to mind, road access. Talk about those things.
Right, and some of those questions are still being answered. We're not 100% through all of those issues yet, but again, yes, we are built where the snow dump originally was. So again, before we could go really public, we had to have studies done. We had to look, where could the snow dump be moved to? So we worked with the city as well, helping them through that process while we were going through our own process of could we actually move to this site and could we get those approvals. So that was huge, and I commend the city. That was a huge undertaking that they took on to move the snow dump. And again, it's regulations and bylaws and all kinds of things had to be done to accommodate the snow dump, and that was number one in the process. And of course, they were successful in that. And then the second portion was us being able to get the land. And at what price would that land come? Again, we had at that time, no approvals, no money. So I wasn't really able to offer a whole lot. But in working with the city council and having the many, many meetings with them, they understood early on that this project was not just good for the college, it was really good for the community. And we talked about the impact of having 1,000 people on campus every day in the downtown area and what that would do for the city of Pembroke. So they got quite excited about that, and they started to see our vision, and they started to realize that the college is a partner in the community beyond just purely education. And so we all got very excited about what would be possible if this landed right down off the downtown area. When the city realized that this would be a benefit to all, then they made a very generous offer to us, and that they would make this land available to us for, I believe, it started out at $1, and I think they raised it to $10 when we actually transferred the land. So by transferring the land to us for that nominal fee, that enabled us to say, you know what, this is doable because we're not having to purchase land. We don't have to come up with many hundreds of thousands of dollars to just buy the land. We just have to come up with the millions to build the campus, which was daunting in itself. But at least we had the land. By having that land, that enabled us to go forward to the senior executives at the college level and in the ministry and say, we've secured this. So by getting this land, the city and the county were showing their support for us in building this. What could the college and the post-secondary system do for us? And again, getting those approvals to actually go forward and build the campus was not easy. And as you know, there were many stressful days heading down that highway to Ottawa for yet to get more and more meetings to convince people. And I think it was a long and arduous process, certainly learned a lot through that. And we really didn't, the turning point was really in November, we held, as you will recall, we held a town hall meeting. And this was, I think, our last, maybe we hoped it wouldn't be our last attempt, or we thought it would do it, but we needed to really capture the spirit of the communities behind the idea of building a new college campus in downtown Pembroke. So with again, as always, we have many, many partners when we venture into these different projects. And at that time, it was A Channel who came on board with us, and they offered to hold a town hall meeting. We turned our cafeteria into a TV studio. We had many people participate from the community, and the town hall was finding out what was the support very publicly. Was there support for this project, for this campus to be built in downtown Pembroke? Through that process, it became very clear that there was a lot of support for the campus. And I mean, on top of that, we got a huge donation from Ellen and Kathleen Huckabone, and they donated $500,000. Now you have to remember, we didn't even have approval at that stage of the game to build a college campus. So that was just tremendous. And I think that program aired 2 nights before the next college board meeting. So the timing was pivotal. And we made sure that everybody on that board meeting, no matter where they lived, they had the right channel and the right time to watch that town hall meeting. Then on the Monday following that program, they had their board meeting, and that was November 11th, and they voted unanimously to approve the construction of a new college campus here in Pembroke. So it was pivotal day. And it was November 11th, 2008. And here we are in, not November, beautiful June in 2012, and we are here in the park, and the college is right behind the cameras, and it's still astounding to me that we've come this far.
I want to talk to you about that moment when you found out that the approval had been given to the Board of Governors. Was that the moment where you said, I guess it's real?
I'm not sure. I'm still, those were in the days when we were able to talk on our cell phones. So I actually got the call at 7 in the morning. The Vice President Academic at the time, Kent McDonald, phoned me on my cell phone and said, where are you? I said, well, I'm on my way to Ottawa to attend our meetings. And he said, I got to tell you, the board passed the motion. I said, so I said, wow, that's great. I remember hanging up, and I believe I tried to get hold of you. Can't remember if I was successful or not, but I don't think I thought it was real. I just thought, wow, this is going to be a lot of work. But it didn't really seem real to me until later that day. I got back to Pembroke, and we had called together all the staff and faculty at the campus, and we made the announcement. And it became very real as I told everyone that we got the approval and that it was still going to be a lot of work, but we would have a new college.
Before you came to Pembroke, you had lots of experience in post-secondary education, as a dean and what have you, and you had a lot of experience in community development. But I remember you saying to me, I'm actually quite shy. You sure changed you in this project, didn't you?
Oh, has it changed me? Yes, yeah. Indeed. Yes, I am quite shy. I know everyone watching this who knows me will laugh. But yes, I am really quite a shy person. And so this job, there has been no time for shyness. And so I had to learn to get over that and to embrace it, in fact. And so now probably people are saying maybe a little more shy would be good. But no, that was definitely a huge learning curve I had to overcome.
I need to say a few extra words about Mr. Bramburger. All of those car trips, all of those meetings and presentations, all of those cups of steeped tea. I have learned much from you, Jamie. For instance, I now know the year Boston last won the Stanley Cup, the year the Boston Red Sox won the pennant, the history of the NHL, NFL, CFL, and of course, the main topic of conversation was the CJHL and the Lumber Kings.
So you've been involved in post-secondary education for a long time. This project, defining moment in your career?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, this is an incredible opportunity. As an academic dean, you don't really have the opportunity to be involved in something of this magnitude in your career. So it is, although it has been a huge challenge, and I know there are days when I can be heard running through the hallways going, I hate this project, I hate this project. It is an amazing, amazing thing to be involved with. So again, I think as an educator, I mean, we're always telling people that they need to learn and we need to learn as well. And so I have learned so much through this process that, I don't know, I might be able to help you with your deck next summer, Jamie.
I have one last question. For the students and the staff that are going to get to work in this building, what's that experience going to be like?
Well, I think it's going to be wonderful. It's going to be memorable. Again, for all of us, how often do you get the opportunity to walk into a brand new institute and teach those first classes, welcome that first group of students? I think everybody's going to be in tears, not just me, on that first day. When we greet the students into this brand new structure, I think it's going to be overwhelming. And that to be here at that time is something that we will all carry with us, forever. And it's going to be spectacular.
There were so many defining moments in this project. I think back to the first presentations that we made to the President's Executive Committee, and there were a number of things they asked for, and they were doing their due diligence. They really wanted to measure the commitment level of the community. They wanted to make sure that we had a vision, and that's where the name Renaissance Square came from, a new beginning for the college, a new beginning for Pembroke and its downtown. They wanted us to continue to work with the city and try to secure the land. They wanted us to get the capital campaign going to see if there were going to be financial commitments from the community. Those were big steps, and we embraced them, and we just, every time we went back to give an update, it seemed like things were progressing in the right direction. A big moment was certainly when the Huckabone family made the commitment of $500,000. That was an extraordinary gift for the college, and I can remember being in the room that night when the announcement was made, and you could have heard a pin drop, and the jaws just dropped. That was such a significant financial investment being made in the college, and I think the next day the headlines in the paper, family donates $500,000, $500,000 to new college campus. That to me was a moment when the community took note, said, wow, this is for real, this is going to happen. What has the fundraising experience been like?
New for me. I didn't realize how difficult it is to ask people for money. And if you want to make it even simpler and clearer, to ask them for a significant amount of money. We are going into people's homes, into people's businesses, and promoting the idea of Algonquin College to them and asking them to contribute. We've had tough economic times. Times are tough in Pembroke, and it's tough to ask people for money. Despite that, people persevere and are prepared to give. Despite the fact that times are tough in this area, people do seem to realize how important the college is. Heck, some of their children have probably gone to the college or probably had friends who've gone to the college, and I now think that going to Algonquin College, and I didn't know this before, is a great start to any range of post-secondary educations. If you want to do college before university, I think it's a great thing to do. I see students who are sometimes not ready for university, and they're dipping their toes in the college waters, and sometimes, frankly, they're not ready for college. But I think it's a superb way to get a practical education in this day and age. And again, it's only embarrassment I feel at not having been involved earlier.
Not everyone is a philanthropist, and you find that out when you're in fundraising and you ask people to make a donation. There is an element of frustration, isn't there?
Well, sure. But if you come back to the idea that, I grew up in Pembroke, and I know how Pembroke works, like you know how Pembroke works. And we know the people of Pembroke. And sure, it's frustrating when someone says, no, I can't afford it, but frustration's not the right word. Understanding is. If someone says to you at the door, I really can't afford this, that takes a certain amount of courage to say that. So yeah, it's frustrating, but not that part of it. When someone gives you the good, honest no, that's not frustrating at all. When people don't know what we're doing or don't know about Algonquin College, and I was once one of those, that's frustrating. Because it's frustrating to have to explain, not frustrating, but I guess it's eye-opening to have to explain to people the whole college process and how valuable this asset is to our community over and over again, but I'm happy to do it.
But on the other side of things, when someone says, yes, I will support you, that is extremely gratifying.
Of course it is. And in fact, right after someone says yes, you don't really know quite what to say. Because you're happy and you perhaps want to give them a hug, but you can't do that to random people that you visited off the street. Sure, it's just as good to get $100 for someone who can hardly afford it, as it is to get $50,000 from a large organization. Don't get me wrong, $50,000 is a lot of money, and we're totally grateful for every large donation. But relative to someone's income, $100 can be significant too, and that's always been the philosophy around the giving. Let's take every gift and make it important to the giver, because it is important.
Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis, was once asked if people could have a common dream, And his answer was yes. But how could that be? How could so many people with different psychological makeup dream a common dream? Indeed, difficult to explain. Yet look at all of us gathered here today as we celebrate the accomplishment of the many who had that common dream.
Ed, was there a defining moment? You know, City Hall hears from lots of businesses, organizations that come in and they have a big plan and they say we're going to create this many jobs or we're going to do this great big project, and it never happens. Was there a defining moment in this project where you said, yeah, I think this is going to actually happen?
Well, I believe when we were here, when President Gillett was here, and we had that wonderful ceremony, and we drove up on the horses. I felt like a member of the royalty, of the royal family, and I said, you know what, this is going to happen. This is the defining moment now. People are talking about it. We had hundreds of people there for that particular dedication, and it happened so quickly. And I mean, it was so well organized. And the construction that is it just blossomed. It came out of the ground like a new seedling. It continues to grow, and it will mature and provide wonderful opportunities for the future. So to me, that was a defining moment where it all came together. The Student Association, these people that live in our community that have dipped into their pockets personally and said, look, I'm going to donate to this project because I believe in our community, I believe in our youth, and I believe in the future of Pembroke and the area.
Ed, you've been mayor for a few years now. You've been a member of council for quite a few years. Where does this project rank on the major political accomplishments?
I would say in my books, I had a dream. We all talk about this dream. I had a dream about a new Algonquin College campus. That was my dream, and my idea was to help motivate council, maybe members of our staff, and to talk to you guys. I mean, it's been kicking around for a long time. Wasn't really my idea initially. I know you've had wonderful people such as Don Dubé and other members of your establishment, your board of governors, who could see the vision for the future for a college here. But everyone has to be on board with that same dream to make it happen. To me, I believe, this is my number one, I should say our number one accomplishment in the community. It's got to be, because it's going to focus on youth, on the future, and quality of life for everybody. So, yeah, I would say number one. I can't say it's anything else but number one.
Together inside. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Algonquin College in the Ottawa Valley officially christened. Back to you, Jamie.
Fred, you had the privilege of actually introducing the motion that got this college project to move forward. Talk about the night in the boardroom when you introduced the motion. What happened?
Well, we had a huge number of people from the city of Pembroke. We had a lot of our staff. We had a delegation of community-minded people sometime before the resolution was actually read at the board. And the board was quite ready to receive this resolution. I would have to say it was one of the most exciting moments of my adult life to be able to present on behalf of the huge team, the college team, the citizens, our political people. To be the person to read this into the record was a huge honor and very moving, and mostly to have it unanimously endorsed. No recorded vote, no discussion. Moved, seconded, and approved. Very exciting.
I think what's more extraordinary than the fact that it was approved is the language in the resolution that speaks to with or without government money. This is not a small project. It's costing a lot of money.
Very much so. And when the college decided to go to the Board of Governors with this proposal, we were amazed to see the resolution come back saying, irrespective of support from the federal or provincial governments, we, the Board of Governors, believe this project is so important to the young people, to the community, to the Upper Ottawa Valley, and to rural education in general, that we're prepared to move ahead on this without any government funding, to draw from our reserves. That shows you how important it really was.
Talk to me, I guess, if you had to structure the defining moments of this project, when you really started to believe, hey, this is going to happen.
It's the longest pause I've made because it was such an ongoing process. The decision by the city of Pembroke to make the land available at minimal, virtually no cost, $10, was a defining moment. They looked at the waterfront project, they looked at what the college might offer, and City Council made the decision to move ahead. Very big moment. The public meeting that we held at the old campus, where we had all of the politicians, members of the community, and the Board of Governors there to see the enthusiasm, another defining moment. The donation by the Huckabones, clearly a huge defining moment. The day that ground was broken, another major moment. Right here, again, another electric moment. So that would be my choice of 4 or 5 of the most important moments in this project.
How does the college compare to all those other projects for you?
It's certainly one of the most important of any project that I've been involved with. There's no question the International Plowing Match in 1994, using 1,150 volunteers, was a defining moment for Renfrew County. People still talk about things happening before or after the plowing match. I think people will use the college in the same way. Before or after the new campus was built will be a way of defining our history, much the way the '94 international event was.
I think I remained confident through the entire process, and it was years, that the project would get done. That doesn't mean that there were times where I said, you know, what is going to be the defining moment, or what's going to take this project off the rails, because there were many, many obstacles that we had to overcome to make it happen. But I think what was interesting to me about it when we started into fundraising, which was completely new to me, was that we had a level of enthusiasm and a group of people that were from a different era. We had a younger group of fundraisers. You know, it was almost like a passing of the old guard. Yes, we had Fred Blackstein's expertise there, almost as a mentor for everyone who was joining in on our fundraising efforts. But there was a different group of people, a passing of the torch, if you will. And they had so much energy and so much excitement about the project. And people that were coming forward, our staff really were engaged, and our faculty were engaged, and that excitement just kept mushrooming in the community, and the political forces, you know, at the municipal level were really, really getting involved and excited about it too. And it just kept going. It didn't slow down, and it, you know, yes, there were times, as I said, where it was like, okay, is this the straw that broke the camel's back, that we're done, it's not going to happen. But there always seemed to be something came around the corner, a new shed of light that made it happen. And it's so great, and it's such a rewarding experience, and there are so many people that have their fingerprints on this project that can sleep easily for a lot of years to come and say, you know, when I look at that building, I played a role in making it happen. Summarize it all for me. You know, the stages from going as an employee at Algonquin's Pembroke campus for so many years to having the opportunity to work in, you know, the leadership team, the senior leadership team at Waterfront Campus in Ottawa, to have an impact on the decision that was made, and now to see it come to fruition.
Yeah, it really is a wonderful opportunity to work at Algonquin College. It has been a wonderful opportunity to work at Algonquin College, to look back and see how things have evolved at the campus. I really think that you know, there's that old adage, you know, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. When I reflect on the 30 years, I had a wonderful, wonderful career. Never really thinking a few years ago that it would, you know, end and conclude with such a wonderful opportunity for the college to build a new campus and have a new campus on the water. So it's just like a, you know, a storybook career with a wonderful happily ever after ending.